Tennessee against the Cowboys. Cowboys fired their offensive line coach, made some changes there as they get ready tonight and they have Amari Cooper tonight also as they get ready to play Tennessee and try to get to 4-4 in Big D this evening. Josh in Secaucus, what's up, Josh?
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. What's up?
I've been sitting back yesterday watching the Jets game because the Giants weren't on, and you got to root for other New York teams sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, Jeremy Bates has zero imagination as an offensive coordinator. I don't think he called any good run plays. I think the GM failed to do his job and build that O-line kind of like Gettleman. Not giving. I think Darnold.
They're not the same. It's not the same. They're not in the same place as organizations. I mean, they're in very different places as teams. So I just judge it a little differently. Like what? Give me an example of what you mean they didn't call good run plays. What does that mean?
It's a total. It's the same run call every single time. It's either a stretch to the right, stretch to the left, dive up the middle. Like the Dolphins were very ready. I just didn't think they were trying to help out Darnold in any way possible.
What you want? I don't understand. Well, first of all, what they didn't do was they didn't trap a lot. They ran everything outside, which was a little bit surprising. Now they're not at full strength yesterday, but they did run everything, especially early in the game, wide, which was a little surprising. I would have thought, especially against the personnel. But I mean, I don't understand. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Run in the rounds? I mean what do you want? The Jets have actually run the ball well this year. Their offensive line coach and their running game coach, Rick Dennison, is not a bad coach. They've run the ball fairly well this year. Now, they don't have Bilal Powell. They've actually, for the most part, now yesterday they didn't run the ball well. And yesterday their offensive game plan, it wasn't really their game plan, just they didn't execute. I mean, they ran the ball for the most part this year very well. The problem is they don't have any playmakers. They do not have a whole lot of playmakers on this offense. And Nunwa makes plays. I mean, and he makes plays, but he's a guy who makes plays by breaking tackles. That's how he makes plays. He doesn't really make plays. Makes plays after he catches the ball. And he starts throwing guys off right and left as he goes down the field. That's how Nunwa makes plays. At least he catches the ball. Kearse, I don't know. What the heck is Kearse doing? I mean, I have no idea. I'd actually stop him on the way onto the plane. I'd stop him on the way on the plane and say, what were you doing today? I mean, what did you have can you tell me what was going on the field today? I mean, what were you doing out there? For a veteran receiver, I don't know what he was doing yesterday. Richie in Brightwaters, what's up, Richie?
Hey, Mike.
What's
so
happening?
2 things. One, the coach's relationship with the young quarterback, I don't dig on it at all. You watch up and down the league yesterday, you see McVay talking, with his guy. You see Peyton talking to Breeze. You see them, all the best guys have hands-on relationships with the quarterback. And you always said the 3 most important things: head coach, quarterback relationship, and GM. And they don't have that.
Head coach, quarterback, and owner are the 3 most important guys on a team. That's it. Now, you can, some owners are a little more passive than others. So you could throw the GM in there, depending on a certain team. But the guy who pays the money, the guy who procures the players, pays the money, and then the head coach and the quarterback. Those are the most important guys on the team. And I'm not worried about the Sam Darnold relationship with Bowles. What I'm worried about is the fact that you can sit there on the sideline, watch this slop, play after play, and not correct it. I mean, you could tell that the center was beaten down yesterday. He was beaten down. After the game, I felt bad for him. He talked in the locker room and basically said, I'll try and do the best I can. I mean, could somebody please come and rescue me? Is basically what I think he was saying. I mean, it was sad. I mean, his performance was just dreadful. Jason in Bayonne, what's up, Jason? I think he's gone. Sonny in Malvern, what's up, Sonny?
Hey, Mike. I think the Jets fans actually have a pretty good perspective. From what I've heard most of the morning, they're pointing the fingers in the right direction. That's at Bowles, not at Sam Darnold.
Listen, fans do the same thing. They want every coach fired. I mean, listen, it's nothing new. They want good coaches fired, so they're going to want bad coaches fired. They want every coach fired. They want Tom Coughlin fired 100 times before he won. I mean,
right,
they want every coach fired. They want it's fire. It's always the same. It's never keep the guy. He might develop into something. So we know their reaction's always going to be the same. Fire everybody. I mean, that's always their reaction.
Yeah, but they have a good perspective as far as Darnold's concerned. They know it's a process. Listen, he's thrown 14 interceptions, yes, but how many Peyton Manning threw his first 9 games? 19 interceptions.
It doesn't matter. I've seen guys throw 30. I mean,
so it doesn't matter.
Question of whether you're going to leave them in there to throw it or not. What you're worried about is you got to know your quarterback's demeanor. You got to know his development as to whether he's getting beaten down. If he's getting beaten down, if he's starting to get depressed, if he's starting to develop some really bad habits, then you got to stop it. Then you got to back him off. Hey, there's not one way to teach. Can you teach a guy by sitting him down? I don't like the idea of let's put him on a sideline for a couple of weeks and let's let him watch the game that way. I don't believe in that. Unless the guy is really beat up mentally, I don't believe in that. And that's when I do that is when I see the guy getting absolute okay, let me give you an example. If Peterman were a prospect, all right, and I apologize to anybody for picking the Bills on Friday. I did not think Peterman would ever play. I mean, I never thought he would play him the whole game, and he did, and we saw what happened. And it wasn't even just him yesterday because the first fumble was a fumble by a receiver after a reception that went for a touchdown, and then he threw the pick six after that. But I never thought he'd play him. But there's a guy that is beat down mentally. I mean, he doesn't have any ability, but he's beat down mentally. You worry about these guys getting beat down mentally in their first year. You don't want them to get beat up. Jimmy took Aikman out because he thought he was getting beat down mentally. And he put Steve Walsh in. And he thought, hey, I don't want Troy to get beat down. I don't want him to get beat down mentally. And he didn't. I think you worry about that. That part of it, I think, is realistic. But as far as worrying about, the guy, it's about whether he is ready to attack the next game. If he is, don't worry about the interceptions. I mean, I really don't worry about them. I don't. They're going to throw picks the first year. They're just going to. They don't complete the passes. They're going to throw picks. They're going to miss guys in coverage. They are going to absolutely fall prey to the stuff that always happens. A guy's going to fake like he's coming that he's rushing the quarterback. He's going to drop back in coverage. Oh, I didn't see him. How many times did you hear Sam say, I didn't see him? I didn't see him. That's what happens all the time. It happens to veteran guys. It's going to happen to rookies. This league's tricky. They'll show you a coverage you never saw before. They'll show you, they make it tough on first-year quarterbacks. That's why first-year quarterbacks don't win. Bill Upstate, what's up, Bill?
No, Mike, I heard you in the beginning when you were talking about Donaldson can't be under center and they need to get somebody to that can center him the ball.
Putting him under center is a complete radical change. Now he's got
I'm not arguing that with you. I understand what you're saying. I agree. But the guy that's playing center, he's playing hurt. He has a broken finger. So
then you have more than one center. You take him out.
I understand that, but that's on the coach.
That's on the coach, and the coach messed up, and that made the coach look really bad yesterday because he could not allow the guy to do it the whole game. He could not allow him to be doing that the entire. He was doing it early. He was doing it in the middle. He was doing it late. You cannot have someone do that the entire time. So, and again, if you're going to say put Sam on the center, well, now you're changing everything that Sam has to do. Sam has to do everything differently now. It's a completely different way of playing, especially on passing downs, if he's going to play on the center. So now it's he's got to obviously he's got to pick things up. He's got to worry about his footwork. He's got to know where he's got to worry about where he is on his plant. He's got so many other things he's got to do if he's going to take the ball from center. Richie in Massapequa, what's up, Richie?
Mike, how are you?
Good.
Mike, the reason I want a question I wanted to ask you, the way this whole game is changing now with all these penalties, do you ever foresee in the future that a coach might be able to challenge a certain penalty?
No.
Because what I saw last night in that Packer game with the roughing the kicker.
Well, listen, that was absolutely and again, I think, you know what? They have a way of they judge officials, they grade officials. That was a an absolutely horrific call on 4th and 21 to give them a personal foul on that play was an absolute farce. I mean, in a Packers,
can they get together and talk about it?
Well,
or
listen, it's one guy's call. He had the call. He messed up. The kicker fooled him. The kicker fooled him, and he didn't. I mean, that is not the rule. That should have been running into the kicker. Should have been a 5-yard penalty. That was an atrocity that they called that a 15-yard penalty. And I mean, the Packers got the worst of it all night. Not only the ejection, the 15-yard penalty on that play. Also, they wound up losing like 5 guys to injury during the game. 4 of them on defense, 3 of them in the secondary, which absolutely killed them at the end of the game, which is why the Gordon play happened. And the fumble, at that point, the Packers had complete control of that game. I'm telling you right now, if that guy, if he doesn't fumble right there, Jones, if he doesn't fumble, first play, fourth quarter, 28-yard line, unforced, if he doesn't fumble there, they are going to get 3 or 7 minimum. They're getting 3 minimum. They're going to get 7 most likely. But let's say they get 3. I don't care. Whether they get 3 or 7, they are taking the lead. They had completely shut the Pats down. Brady had been 0 for 7 or 8 at that point in a row. And that game, at worst, is going to be Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 minutes with the ball down a maximum of 4 points or even at the end of that game. That's the worst he's going to be. Instead, we know what happened. I mean, that was absolutely, you have that penalty. Well, if you have that turnover, and then obviously the Edelman play, and, everything fell apart. But they were in complete control of that game as they were heading into the end zone there. Hey, sometimes, listen, you can't turn the ball over. You want to play those big games, you cannot turn the ball over. 2 weeks in a row, that Montgomery fumble, which kept the ball out of Aaron's hands at the end of the game, and then this fumble, 17 up, going into the end zone, on a drive, you've completely taken control of the game, and you have that happen. Terrible. Robin Edison, what's up, Rob?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
What's happening?
I was just wondering, the Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman thing, I know they were both on your show saying he was never benched. He was injured. They both said it on your show.
Oh, please, come on. Listen, I'm telling you, he was benched. We all know he was benched. Please, come on. He was injured. I know he was injured against the Redskins that night. Yeah, I know. He was injured. Please. Why are we going to talk about that? So what? He got benched. What's the big deal? He was injured. Okay. All right, he was injured. He didn't take him out. He took him out because he got the heck beat out of him. Okay, that's why. Instead of he benched him. He was playing great. He's lining up behind a guard. He was playing great at the time. Playing great. Hadn't won a game, getting a stuffing knocked out of him, and he took him out because he was injured, not because he was playing bad. I got it. Who cares? The bottom line is, you know what the point was. He was playing lousy, okay? We can discuss why he was benched. Jeez, that's what we're going to talk about now. Rob in Lakewood, New Jersey. What's up, Rob?
Yeah, Mike, you keep on saying, all 4 great first-year quarterbacks go through this, which is true. Yeah. But all busts also go through this for the same price.
Who?
I was just hoping you would
I didn't hear what you just said. What did you just say?
I said that although we could give you a list of great quarterbacks who have had rough first years, Peyton Manning and the like, but the ones like Ryan Leaf look very similar to Sam Darnold last night.
Well, you got to know the difference. And you know what? If you think this is Ryan Leaf, good luck to you. So you're saying this is Ryan Leaf, this kid? You telling me he's going to be out of the league next year? Okay. Call me back when he's out of the league next year. Mike in the Poconos. What's up, Mike?
Mike, as a Jet fan, I'm willing to give Todd Bowles the benefit of the doubt for the last couple of years and even with a rookie quarterback this year. But you know what? Starting with the Chicago game and all those false starts and now the debacle yesterday, if he doesn't turn things around, I think they need to make a change.
Yesterday was inexcusable. There's no way to defend it. It was inexcusable yesterday. You have got to adjust to what was going on in the game. You cannot allow that to go on for 4 quarters. You cannot allow it to. You cannot allow that to go on the entire game. I mean, you sometimes you have to take you got to take the bull by the horn, and that's not even a hard adjustment. I mean, look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been hot and cold this year. They just fired their offensive line coach because they've been so incensed. Richard in Manhattan. What's up, Richard?
Mike, Darnold is going to be a great quarterback. At the end of the half.
He's going to be a good one. I don't know about
he made a play that was unbelievable. The snap was way to his right. He one-hands the snap. The rush comes in. He just sidesteps it, throws a bullet 8-yard pass sideline, and they get into field goal range, and that's what did it. He was great. That play was magnificent. Mike, you mentioned about losing quarterbacks in this Hall of Fame. I think maybe George Blander and John Hadle might have had losing records.
No, I'm not interested now. We're not talking about that. Dean in Montclair, what's up, Dean? What's happening?
Hey, Mike. I totally agree with what you said to begin the show. My daughter goes to USC and actually had class with Sam. He gets it. That's why, even other sports guys were saying, oh, he needs a break. Listen to what he said in the postgame. He's covering for a bunch of coaches.
He doesn't need a break.
No.
You can tell when a guy needs a break, and you can tell when he doesn't need a break. Sam doesn't need a break. He's got it covered. He's fine. And listen, when he makes a mistake, he knows what the mistake is. I mean, that's the good part.
I was hoping Kurtz would have caught the ball because I used to see him. I've watched him every game at USC. He was noted for those comebacks in the last couple of minutes when Kurtz stepped out of bounds.
Oh, terrible. I mean, Kurtz's game yesterday was just terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, not only that, they set up the wide receiver screen perfectly for him, and he drops the ball. I mean, geez, that play. You ever see the Pats set the wide receiver screen up perfectly and drop the ball? Mike in Jersey City, what's up, Mike?
I think I've been going to Jets games since I could just about walk. I'm about 40. I'll be 40 soon. I've had enough of Bowles. I think a lot of us have. His teams over the couple of years he's been here, they haven't improved at all. You got the guys who can't fair catch. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they let it drop at the wrong time. I'm watching the Rams game yesterday. The second-string running back makes this amazing effort to get into the end zone. He tiptoes along the line.
What a great play.
You never see a Jet do that. When was the last time a Jet, Anunwa, he playing his heart out yesterday, he's the only one that does that.
Anunwa does play his heart out. I mean, he does play very hard. I agree with you. He plays really hard.
And Bilal Powell is the only other Jet that
he
really
misses.
does that.
They miss Bilal Powell a lot. And you knew they would. You knew they would because Bilal Powell's a really good player, very underrated player. They don't have enough weapons right now. Listen, what he did yesterday, there's certain things that are unforgivable. What happened yesterday in that game is unforgivable. Listen, there's no way I can guarantee you during that game, ownership, whoever's representing ownership right now, whichever relative is the guy who McCagnon deals with day to day, okay?
Right.
Is saying to him yesterday, why are we allowing this to go on? And when the announcers are saying it, then the owner is saying it to the general manager 2 minutes later, because when the announcer notices it, then everybody notices it. That was atrocious what went on yesterday.
The center had a dislocated middle finger.
Yeah, well, listen, if he can't
start a guy like that.
If he can't play though. And again, I agree. Hey, I'm out here doing my job till they tell me I can't do my job. I understand that, and that's admirable. But there comes a point where, Bowles has got to go rescue him. He's got to go rescue him. That's all there is to it. He has to go rescue him. And he didn't. I don't understand that. I don't understand where the offensive line coach, I don't understand where anybody is, where they allowed us to go on. I mean, it went on all day. I mean, I just don't understand it. Dave in Wyckoff, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, what's happening?
So, look, I am very excited about Sam Darnold. I don't think that Todd Bowles is the right coach for him, and I missed your take on that, but I'm assuming that you probably agree with that.
I'm not going to argue for Todd right now. I mean, I can't. Listen, it's okay. But here's the thing. It's always the easiest thing to yell, fire the coach. It's always the easiest thing to do, so I try not to do it indiscriminately at every juncture because it's always the easiest thing to do. And people do it sometimes when they're very wrong, and they do it when they're right. I mean, they do it when guys don't work out. They do it every time. And then sometimes guys come back and fool them, like Coughlin. I mean, people screamed for Coughlin to be fired for years. And he won 2 Super Bowls. So, I mean, it depends. See, the problem is you keep changing coaches. It's hard to find coaches. Now, this year, I'm going to tell you, this year, there is going to be, I believe the way things are shaping up, there are going to be a couple of good coaches on the market. There are going to be a couple of successful coaches who are going to be looking for jobs. And if that's the case, you might want to gobble one of those guys up. I mean, I think there's going to be, I'm not getting into the college guys because the college guys are always a roll of the dice. If they haven't coached in the NFL, they're always a roll of the dice. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, the pro guys, if a Harbaugh becomes available, would I jump on a Harbaugh in a heartbeat? Guy's a really good coach. Would I be interested in Mike McCarthy? I'd have to look at it long and hard. Now, knock on Mike McCarthy, it's going to be hard for him to go anywhere after having worked with Aaron Rodgers and go coach. You're going to look at the body work and say, is this good enough considering the fact that you had Aaron Rodgers all these years? That's really that's eventually, what's going to go on there. There's a lot of rumblings about him too. And I'll tell you, I thought the last 2 games his team played really well, and it was a couple of fumbles that just killed them, absolutely killed them. Mike in Floral Park. What's up, Mike? Yes,
hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Good. Hey, Mike. Todd Bowles, he's had his time here. What is this, his 5th year? Did McCagney bring him in, or did he inherit him?
They came in at the same time. They kind of would joint. They came in exactly the same time.
I don't think he hired him though. Here's my problem.
He was already.
I would jump in too if he.
I would not. Bowles, I would not get rid of him. I would not get rid of McCagnon. I think McCagnon is building something. I'm going to give him a spin at the wheel. This is a very big year. If you change now in midstream here, I'd be very leery of doing that. I really would. I'm going to give McCagnon a spin in the wheel here. And this is it. I mean, this is it. They got to be a lot better next year because they're going to go out and spend a ton of money. They've been waiting for this year. They're going to be $90 million under the cap. They can be incredibly aggressive. I would have liked to have seen them get with Khalil Mack already. They didn't. I would have liked to have seen that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because I don't think there's a Khalil Mack you're going to get anywhere else this year. Joe in New Haven. What's up, Joe?
First time, long time.
Yes, Joe.
Question for you. Do you think maybe that the Jets are a product of the personality of their coach? Like maybe they need somebody with a little more swagger, a little more bravado to lead them?
No, I don't think that. I don't think another coach is going to be having is not going to have a 6-3 record with this team. If that's what your point is, I don't think they have that kind of talent. So I understand what you don't like about Bowles. But I don't think that they might be a game better, but I don't think they're, reversed if they have the right coach. I don't think it's that way because I don't think they have that kind of talent. Plus, you're breaking in a rookie quarterback, which comes with some problems. I mean, it comes with some pitfalls because you're going there's going to be games where what you did in a couple of these games might be good enough. What you did yesterday in the right spot might be good enough with a veteran quarterback because he might not throw the pick six, and you might wind up winning that game. So I would think playing a rookie all 16 games his first year is going to cost you a couple of games. It's going to cost you 2 games in the standings. You'd be 2 games worse than you would have been otherwise. Al in the Bronx, what's up, Al? Yes, Al, go ahead. Trying to pop him
tweet
up.
from
Yes.
Mike. Did you see this latest tweet from Le'Veon Bell?
No.
While the NFL Live is on the air, he tweets out "Farewell Miami." I mean, this is how he notifies the Steelers that he's heading back to Pittsburgh. I have had enough of this dude,
Well, listen,
man.
I mean, listen.
Dude, this guy is.
The Steelers
come on,
created
Mike.
this themselves. They handled this terribly from the beginning. I mean, they allowed this guy because they allowed this guy to get away with murder from the beginning. They should have chastised him 2 years ago.
I mean, at some point, he's talking to people. He says, "I'm going to be there the first day." And then he says, "I'm going to be there after this." At some point, don't you expect somebody to keep their word?
Listen,
I mean, he's telling the team he's going to be there.
I would have taken care of him 2 years ago. They allow these guys to fester. That's the problem. All these organizations do this now. They allow these guys, when they have some success, to think they can run the whole organization. Absolutely run the whole organization. Do whatever they want. And it doesn't work. And he got screwed here because he's playing a position where there always is not a defined market for you. It's not like being a wide receiver. It's not like being a quarterback where there's always a defined market for you. At running back, there is not that kind of market available. And you can get players at lesser price in terms of draft pick, in terms of money, to fill in and do well. These guys come in the league, second round, third round, do really well at running back. And look what happens. They get a kid who comes in and has the year that his backup's having. Now he's screwed. Now he doesn't know what to do. So now he got checkmated here. But I think they should have handled it from the beginning 2 years ago. They allow all these guys to just, these guys have got to be put in their place when they're young. Then they act the right way. I mean, they just let these guys get out of control from the beginning. From the beginning. And this year, everybody turned on him. His teammates turned on him. Everybody turned on him. Now he's a desperate player. But now no one's going to wind up winning out of this. Steelers aren't going to get fair value, and he's got nowhere to go. He's really messed up. He's got nothing good going to happen to him. And you know what? I'm tired of talking about him. I mean, I'm one of these people. That's what's wrong with the league now. What's wrong with the league is when you have a good football game like the Rams and the Saints had yesterday, all anybody wants to talk about is the knucklehead with the phone. Why? Why make that the topic? It was a selfish act for which I would, if I were his coach, take a game check and let the league come after me, let the Players Association come after me. I'll call it conduct detrimental. That could have cost them the game. That could have been the difference between winning and losing, that penalty. I mean, how outrageously selfish is that? And instead, it's all anybody wants to talk about. Oh, it was an homage to Horn, and oh, how great it was. Please. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Another selfish act by a guy who played his rear end off yesterday. Played great. But then ruined it with that garbage back after this.